Hey, everybody, this is James Murphy, emotional release expert and executive business coach with Evolution for Success. And I'm here today to give you a little bit of a tip on how to not set some goals. Usually everybody's out there is going to say, hey, this is how we do set some goals. But today I'm going to tell you the number one reason how not to set a goal. And that really simply said is to sit down and try to do it all at once. If you're a procrastinator out there or someone who loves to set their goals last minute because they think they work well under pressure, whatever that is, don't do it last minute. And let me tell you the two traps on why it's not good to do something last minute. The first reason it's not good to set goals last minute is, first and foremost, they can become too sterile, right? Which means you're actually thinking about your goal too much. Now, it is important to have clarity with your goals, like a SMART goal, or like I've successfully completed the New York City Marathon on November 2nd, 2002 in 5 hours or less injury-free. The problem, SMART goals create clarity, but the problem with SMART goals is they don't necessarily connect you to the emotional intensity of the goal, and that can be a problem. So if you're sitting down to do it all at once, you might just end up being too cerebral, or basically too left brain or too logic oriented. And so your goals aren't going to stick because there's really no energy or no emotion behind them. It's like trying to drive your car with no gas. The second trap that happens when you sit down and you try to set your goal all at once is you might have the opposite problem happen, which is you have a huge surge of a moment of emotional intensity. And so you come up with this one great spontaneous emotional idea, whatever, you think, yes, that's it. I'm committing to that long term. Like, I don't know, like I want to go run a marathon or something crazy like that when you've never run a day in your life. And while it's great to have that moment of emotional intensity and that passion and that energy, right, the right brain creativity wrapped around that thought, the problem with that long term is it's not going to be sustained. So when you hit those obstacles long term, it was an emotional impulse. It wasn't something that you could tap into because emotionally it was going to be fulfilling in the long run. So the process and the procedure, you need something that's not some momentary gasoline on the fire, but something that's going to be a big lighter or something that you can always flick on and off and on and off to get that energy and get that emotion and connect with that passion, that right brain creativity again, because you're going to need that over and over and over and over again. You're going to have to keep that up to be able to tap into that energy and keep that emotion, because the greatest emotional state wins. So you got to keep tapping into that over and over and over when you hit your resistance. So those are the two biggest goals. To recap real quick, the number one way you can fail at setting goals is to try to sit down and have an expectation of doing it all at once, because you're going to end up being too left brain, too logic and reason, or have an emotional impulse on the other side, have too right brain or too creative, and it just isn't going to stick. So whichever it is, you know what, you can't have both, or you can't do one or the other, but we can do both. So stay attention to the next post next week. And we'll talk about how do we do actually both of these and engage them in a very focused yet dynamic, emotionally engaged coaching or goal setting process. So take care. Have an awesome day. Like I always say, here's to your continued success, and we'll talk to you soon.